In this lesson, we are going to be improving the movement capabilities of our AI here. Now, currently, if we had a ramp situation, as in we had a place where our AI was trying to go over a ramp, we might have some problems. And let's go ahead and create a ramp and bake that into our nav mesh just to see what's going to happen. So I can make a ramp out of just some simple primitive shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and get a cube in here. Let's lift it up a little bit. Move it over here. Try and get it sort of in between that waypoint and that waypoint so that hopefully our enemy here will try to go over the ramp. I'm going to make this go a little higher. Let's increase the size maybe to, I don't know, 4 by 4 by 4. And then maybe lower it down a little bit. I'm going to duplicate this, then move this one over here, and then rotate it. And let's go ahead and lower this a little bit. I don't really want it to be too high, just enough. And make sure we get this to where it's going to be a very smooth sort of transition between these two. That's pretty smooth. Just move this down a little bit. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so that's going the up part of the ramp. Now I'm going to duplicate this and switch over to the global one, so I can just move it straight across like this. And right now it's rotated, looks like 12 degrees, so if I put a negative in front of this, hopefully it'll, just switch it over to be that way. It does look like there's a little bit of a lip on either of these, so maybe I'm just going to go ahead and select all three and just lower them a little bit. There we go. Okay, now since I have all those three selected, I'm going to go to navigation, and I'm going to go ahead and mark them all as static, navigation static, and I'm going to bake. And now you can see we have the nav mesh making this area right over right up and down our ramp as walkable, so that's cool. But let's go ahead and see what happens when our AI tries to walk over this. Press play and see what happens. So it looks like we might want to move our AI so it's going towards this one over here first. Otherwise it might not be. It might take a little while to see it go over there. So I'm just going to move it over to that, and then I'll press play. Okay, going towards that one. Very cool. Now what happens when it tries to go over this? Looks like we need to make this a little bit wider, so let's go ahead and do that so it doesn't try going around it. Select these three, and go back into the inspector. And let's just go ahead and redock this. Move it back into here, and back to the beginning. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and not expand it that way, but expand it this way. And now let's go back over to navigation and rebake that. Okay, cool. Now let's give this another shot. So we went to that one, and now it looks like we're trying to go over this, but it's not a very natural movement. You can see it just sort of stayed even. It didn't really like tilt to go up and tilt down to go down. So we can fix that. We can add some of that in here. I'm going to go ahead and go into MonoDevelop. And now let's go ahead and create the function that's going to handle tilting our enemy when it's going up a ramp. So what we're going to do is we're going to do ray casting from right in front and a little bit behind the enemy here. So it's going to see, okay, check this point right in front going down. What do I hit? Okay, what's its position? And then getting the raycast hit of right behind, maybe it's right over here. And then we're going to see from this point to this point, what direction is that? Okay, it's this direction. let's go ahead and set the forward direction, so this blue arrow, to be at that angle. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and create a new function, void, and it's going to be called tilt when needed. And we're going to need a raycast hit variable, so raycast hit. And I'm going to call this variable hit, and we're going to need a condition if, using the physics.raycast function with a variant where we pass in an origin as well as a direction, and we of course can store the raycast hit information into our hit variable. So that'll be the third argument. So first, where we are making the raycast from, its origin, we're going to put in the transform, and I need to go back and forward so I don't get the capital T1, because I want the lowercase transform is the transform of this object, the object this script is attached to. So dot position. And then I need to add a little something to that, because we're trying to get it from a little bit forward. So I'm going to say transform, if I can spell it. And go back and forward so I don't make it a capital there. Dot forward. So there we are, getting it from slightly forward, or 1 unit forward to be exact. And now the direction we want it to go, the direction we want this raycast to be looking, is going to be the vector3 dot down. So dot down. And we want to go ahead and store this into our hit. Just like that. Okay. So, with all of that, we're going to close that out, give it the brackets, and what we need to do in here is go ahead and assign our hit point. So what is the point, or the vector3 position that is hit by this raycast? So I'm going to need to create a vector3 variable, so vector3, and I'm going to call it, let's just call it f hit for forward hit. Maybe just capitalize the H. And we're going to set that equal to hit.point. Just like that. Now what we can do is I'm going to say if, and we're going to just do the same sort of thing again, but we're going to get the back hit point. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna actually copy. In fact, I'm gonna just get rid of this and copy all of this, and then paste this here. There we go. Now we're gonna change this name to B hit, and we're gonna change this to be minus instead of a plus. So it's now going backwards 1. And okay, so now with that, we need to get, or we need to set the transform forward of this object, of our enemy object, to be equal to the direction from our forward point to our back point. So let's go ahead and do that. So transform dot forward equal to, it's going to be, let's see, what was it again? It was the forward hit, so F hit minus B hit. And that should work. So let's go ahead and save that. And we need to put this in both of our states. It's going to be in our pursue state as well as our patrol state. So we need it to, of course, tilt when it's going up in either situation. So we did that. Let's go ahead and save and go back over here. And we will play once that's done compiling. Give that a second. Okay, let's go ahead and play and see what happens. And it looks like we are going up and we are tilting down. Very cool. And that is that. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.